Picture this. Your players are survivors of a formidable battle that left them without spell slots, with few hit points, and now devoid of resources and supplies.
After a night's journey through the desert, they reach a village built around an oasis and head to the Arid Moon Inn, convinced they can finally enjoy a long rest and get back to full strength.
The innkeeper opens the door's peephole, observes the party with scrutinizing eyes, asks for their names, and after hearing them, slams it shut, shouting at them to leave. Why?
Because their reputation preceded them. Word has spread, and the village knows full well that 2 months earlier, those adventurers set fire to the region's larger chicken coop to corner a goblin they needed to interrogate, leaving the Arid Moon without its chicken supplies. And the Arid Moon's roast chicken was precisely the signature dish and main source of income in those desert lands.
Ciao! Welcome to Cantrip. My name is Simo.
And my name is Diego.
And today we'll see how to implement a more layered reputation system than the simple good/bad dichotomy. Taking inspiration from the mechanic introduced by the upcoming Fable and adapting it to our Dungeons & Dragons campaigns.
Because sure, D&D has a renowned system that consists of earning points with a faction and obtaining benefits or ranks within it. But it doesn't contemplate negative reputation or penalties and is much less dynamic than we'd like.
First, it's important to specify how reputation is very different from alignment. Alignment is how your character is predisposed to behave when faced with moral choices, while reputation is how your character is regarded within a community. For example, your lawful good paladin sees a trapped unicorn and, following their nature, decides to save the legendary creature. Perfect. Too bad that in the nearby village, a deadly epidemic is striking all the youngest villagers, and the powered horn of the creature seems to be the only cure. You can bet the lawful good paladin's reputation in that village will be anything but good.
And this is where the system implemented by the upcoming Fable comes into play. Every action taken by the protagonist has a certain resonance in the game world. From small actions like kicking a chicken to more important ones like eliminating a giant, everything has repercussion on how your character is reputed in the game world. But the really interesting thing, there is no clear-cut line separating good from evil. Morality is subjective. Maybe your chicken kicking will be condemned by their owner, but praised by the neighbor who sees their flowers pecked and ruined every morning.
Let's see this concept in action with a practical example. Your party find themselves in the Withered Woods and encounter a group of dwarves who have fallen into a trap and are stuck in a pit. Following their morality, they decide to help the dwarves and free them. Arriving in the nearest village, they tell of their deeds and BAM! Dark glances and hands on swords. They've ended up in a village under the influence of the Bibig who consider dwarves a threat to the world. Because yes, your villain should have their own point of view. We talked about this right here.
So it's important to imagine the morality but also the social condition of the NPCs your players encounter. Did you invest your savings in a luxurious house in the capital? Good! This should grant you contacts with the local nobles, but also earn you the envy or antipathy of the less wealthy districts. Always immerse yourself in the mentality of those interacting with your players and consider what information they might have about them, then behave accordingly. And speaking of information, here are some tips on how to consider how much someone should know about your party.
How do you decide whether an NPC knows about a particular deed of your party? You can use a simple triangulation technique. The magnitude of the party's deed, and therefore how strongly it resonates in the world, the region where the NPC lives, and the NPC status itself.
First, you need to consider. You need to consider how important the deed your party accomplished is. Killing a dragon that's been terrorizing the kingdom for months, or saving the capital from a demon invasion, will have decidedly greater resonance than saving a beaver colony's dam. Maybe. Also consider whether it's plausible that the action is known in the world. If only your party is present at the time of the deed and there are no witnesses, it's very unlikely this will be known in the world. So if you want to steal a ring of protection from a caravan, leave no witnesses. Assign a value to your player's action. and imagine how likely word is to spread and with what intensity. This will allow you to determine the second point of triangulation, the area of resonance.
Once you've set the value of the deed, you need to consider in which areas of your world it might have made the news. It's unlikely that a village on the other side of the world utilizes your party for saving dead beavers colonies them. In determining this element, you must also consider a temporal factor. Because for the news to be learned on the other side of the world will take time, at least among common folk who don't have access to magical communication systems. And this is why it's fundamental to consider the NPC's status. An archmage, for example, will be aware of much more information than an innkeeper. Likewise, an NPC who is part of an organization will most likely be informed of damage dealt by the party to the organization itself.
Now, for the triangulation to succeed, the world-building work must have been perfect. It becomes fundamental to know everything about your world, from the factions at play to the sympathies and beliefs of individual communities, races, and organizations present. The more detailed the setting, the better you'll know how to frame each individual action in the reputation system. When your players interact with NPCs, therefore, do a very quick triangulation and consider what that NPC knows about their deeds. So you'll have a fluid reputation system open to various paths that could lead to more unexpected and layered stories compared to simple labeling as good or bad.
If you're an improviser, triangulation may be enough from time to time, but if you're obsessed like us with preparation, you'll want to take it a step further and dive into the abyss of tables, schemes and hidden counters to track even the smallest eyelid movement of your characters. Think of a table divided by factions, communities, beliefs, sympathies, regions, religions, and every deed of your players that resonates in the world gets marked in the appropriate boxes.
When certain thresholds are exceeded, consequences kick in. Have the players interrupted a dark cult's ritual for the umpteenth time? Here comes the demon who should have received the cult's offering, deciding to emerge from its existential plane to hunt down the players. Or conversely, have the party saved the capital again from the enemy forces threatening it? The king might decide to bestow upon them the title of knights, or give one of them the princess' hand in marriage. In short, the more you're willing to track your party's action, the more you can go wild with the consequences of the reputation system.
Next time your players knock on an inn door seeking rest, don't be so quick to open the door.
Think!
Think about how much trouble they've caused in that region and decide accordingly. We hope you like this more malleable reputation system and that it can lead to unexpected narrative turns in your stories.
And you? Do you use a reputation system in your campaigns? Will you try ours? Let us know in the comments. We want to know how you handle these elements in your sessions.
And if you're interested in new systems, practical advice and D&D homebrew, subscribe, leave a like and activate the notification bell to always keep up with new videos.
Until next time, keep rolling.
Thanks for watching!